in the morning.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Town of Cedar Lakes public meeting and work session for September 9th of 2025. If you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Wendy, would you lead us in a roll call, please?
Brian Leipzig.
Here.
Robert Grosick.
Here.
Benji Kinchelow.
Here.
Luke Sherry.
Here.
David Oshton. Ben Eldridge. Julie Rivera. Wendy Schmicke. And here, and Tim Kubiak.
And I'm here too.
All right, in review of the minutes from July 8th, was there any things that need to be brought to light or reviewed at this point? If not, can I receive a motion to approve the minutes from July 8th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from July 8th, 2025.
I will second that.
Brian Leipzig.
Yes.
Robert Grosick.
Yes.
Benji Kinchelow.
Yes.
Okay, in review of claims fund number 650 to the amount of $27,296.21, is there any review or discussion regarding these claims?
What were they for?
It's for fund number 650, and there's a lot.
Oh, there is?
Yeah. But a lot of it is health insurance, parts,
And this is for
different supplies.
So 654 is
Operating.
I'm sorry?
Operating fund.
Operating fund, and then utility bills, CRISPR Burke, invoices, a copy machine, storm water, stump grinding.
Right, thank you.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve Fund 650 in the amount of $27,296.21.
I will second that motion.
Brian Leipzig.
yes.
Robert Grosick.
Yes.
Benji Kinchelow.
Yes.
In review of claims fund number 650 for the amount of $75,000.24, was there any review or discussion related to this storm capital fund? If not, can I receive a motion to approve these funds?
I'll make a motion to approve Fund 654 in the amount of $75,000.24.
Can I ask a question about that real quick on that one? You did, the sweeper was $23,000 to repair it? So we're okay with a sweeper now?
Oh no, it's broke again.
Yeah.
New drive motor and now, well, we pretty certain that just the starter is out now, but it's ridiculous. Just keeps on.
We probably need to park until we can get another
It's a
one.
never-ending battle, man. We rebuilt the it worked beautiful for the time we used it. We drove it in, they drove it in and shut it off for lunch and went back out and the damn thing wouldn't start.
How long do we have it out for?
Like,
3 hours?
not very long, half a day.
And Mr. Kubiak, you're doing demonstrations of new street sweepers?
Yes, we've been trying to look for some, so I was gonna bring that up, and I don't know what your guys' is. I mean, there was some talk about trying to use some of that money that we got for a street sweeper from the Monsanto thing, but I think that Jennifer seems to think that funding it through the storm board is gonna be a better option, so, we're just kinda, we're still trying to come up with a proposal or an idea, or
And that will be the town council's decision.
Right, but it would be kind of the stormwater board, if we use stormwater capital, it would be partially their decision.
Yeah.
To use stormwater dollars, which Jennifer seems to think is probably the place to try to pay for something from. We're kind of still trying to figure out what to do. I mean, it's like one more thing with the sweeper, and then after we got the transmission pump, which we knew we had to send it out, and it was gonna take forever to get it rebuilt, but it was half the money of a new one. And then as soon as we got it back, the sweeper, a relay was bad or something, it took them forever to try to figure out what was wrong with that, and now, from sitting, you know, but, so, it's on its last leg, but it's still, we spent that kind of money on the damn, and you know, you say $320,000 for a new one, but at least you're getting something that's working, but.
I would make a suggestion to contact Crown Point Public
Yeah,
Works to
I
see what
definitely
they're
will see what they
doing.
got, yeah.
Because their sweeper is nothing, I don't believe you need that, like a sweeper from Chicago, as we discussed, to do the streets here. I mean, you have a couple of the new subdivisions, they have no trees. So, I mean, there's very rare, there's something there. I don't believe a big one like that is necessary. But I would say contact Crown
I
Point,
mean,
see what they're.
that Pelican thing isn't that big, that's just a dustpan and brooms, basically, it's not anything crazy.
And we do have trees on some of the roads
Oh, agreed.
that have
So
curbs
does
and
Crown
gutters.
Point, Bob.
It's a pretty simple, that's a pretty simple machine, but a truck with a cab and chassis, the vacuum, sweeper, blower, it's like $280,000, and it's a contraption, you know, you would think that other thing would be half the cost, because it's brooms and a pan and a dump, you know, but it's
Is
just,
there a place we can look at, one that has been refurbished?
there are a couple places that have some offers of refurbished, so we're looking now, we're kind of
Okay.
seeing what we can find.
Okay.
We kind of just, we've had a couple to the shop to see, but the truck mounted ones are basically, you know, no truck is built to go 3 miles an hour around the neighborhood now, and then that motor and the emission system's gonna just completely, you know, you can't have something like that and putt around. You're not even supposed to let them idle for more than 30 minutes without them shutting off, so, it's very hard to buy a truck mounted, and again, Walsh and Kelly and Peter Walsh and people that have them, that drive 50 miles to a job to sweep and drive 40 miles to a job to sweep, they make sense, but for in town, it's just not a practical solution, so. But we're looking, and, that's the one that we feel is the most mechanically fit to be in a town, but I know I looked at that Tennant brand, and that was more like a parking lot sweeper, they were pretty little, that.
See, there's another one here, Timco?
Yeah, you did it, Timco 435.
Yeah, and we haven't, like I said, we've looked at I can't even think of the name of the other one, but it was, what was that thing called? But it was the vacuum one, you know.
Sure.
Cab and chassis, they had it on either like a flat nose truck or a Freightliner cab, and.
Right, I have a little picture of one, you know, something like this. That's what I saw in Crown Point, something similar to that.
What was the brand of that one?
That was Timco, Tymco.
Okay.
I think that's a bigger one, 600.
And I've said here and at the town council, we're in violation of MS4. We're violating that because we're letting junk go into the lake.
Mm-hmm.
The guy said today, I know he's a sales guy from Standard Equipment, but they said that it was 10 times more expensive to back out manholes and clean manholes with a back truck than it is to pick up that stuff prior to it entering the storm sewer. By the time they did studies on jetting and backing and cleaning, and I know he's a sales guy also, but it kind of makes sense if you could keep that stuff picked up before it goes in there.
I think I'd like to see something that's been refurbished. To
Yeah,
get a
we're
price
looking,
for
we
it,
kinda-
rather than something new. I mean, it's like buying a used car that's been certified, so to
Taken
speak,
care
from
of.
the dealer. I think you're getting a pretty good
Right.
deal. If it's been refurbished, you're gonna get some type of warranty on it, and it's been gone through.
Right, no, I agree,
Okay.
and that thing is, like that particular Pelican model, that's like one of the original, it's just a simple machine, it's not
Sure, okay.
crazy, but, we were gonna try to, you know, like I said, we started trying to see if there was some used ones around and whatever, but that was the cost of that one, and it's a lot of money. We'll definitely, I'll contact the Crown Point people and see what they bought, just to see what they got, if they, I mean,
Thank you.
just to see, and then, we'll take it from there.
Isn't there a Kubiak in Crown Point?
There is. I can probably find out fairly easily.
With that said, I will second the motion.
Thank you.
Brian Leesick,
Yes.
Robert Grosek,
Yes.
Benji Kitchell.
Yes.
Alright, thank you. Alright, moving on to update items, we have the Justin Latz property at 7320 West 140th Place.
We did get the ditch cleared out, the trees cut down that need to be cut down. So we're ready to get that ditch cleaned out. We're trying to figure out if we gotta put a manhole in there next to the road or pour like a head wall, cause the ditch is awfully deep and there's a 2-foot pipe going across the road, so. We got, like I said, we got everything cleared out and kinda seen what we have to work with, and we're trying to establish a game plan now. Whether we're gonna pour like a head wall along the side of 140th, or we're gonna try to put in like a 3-foot manhole with a little inlet in it out into the yard. We're gonna see what's gonna be our best option, but, it's finally making a little bit of progress.
That's great. Thanks
Which
for
is
pushing
better.
that through. I know it hasn't been easy with.
Yeah, which
all
is
these
better
things.
than we've been, but it's at least now we got all the stuff out of there, and we got a kind of a clear lane to work, so it's been, it's looking, I'm optimistic that hopefully by the next time we'll have something to accomplish over there.
Okay.
But a month seems like it goes by in about 3 days over here, but.
That is very true. Moving on to update item B, 12806 Marsh Landing Parkway.
That thing is still in the same status. They said they went out there, and it seems like, I don't know who came in and brought this to the attention, but I guess there was a little place by the back tracks that looked like it kind of washed out a little bit, but they said that they put some rocks in there and they got it kind of stabilized, so I don't know if there's still a problem there or not, and I don't know where this originally originated from. I didn't really know. I know this has been on here for quite a while. I know Eric said that he went and looked out, and there was something way down at the bottom of the ravine from the railroad tracks, and I had Nick and Tim go look at it, and they said it was just like a little washout place going in the back from the swale in the yards, and it didn't seem like it was anything stormwater problem related, so. I don't know if you guys recall who brought this in, or where it came from, or what.
I think Pat Conlon mentioned it last year.
Oh, is that where it came from? That's why I was gonna try to see what the real issue was, 'cause it's been so long.
And we haven't heard from the resident, it was just Pat bringing him up.
So that's from the Conlon guy?
Yeah.
So I'll call him and see if he I'll touch base with Pat and see if there's something, or what was the issue or what, because they went there and it seemed like we were trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the Chris Warnoff property on 10708 West 133rd Place.
This is the one that we've been pestering the railroad to clean out their culverts. I didn't hear anything back from them, I was bugging them again.
And you got a current phone number from William Miller.
Yeah, I do, and it goes to voicemail. I also came to learn that actually when Don was still here, they were bugging Norfolk Southern a long time ago because of the issues they were having at the middle school with the ponds not draining.
Yeah.
So I come to learn that TJ and Don were bugging them for a long time for that, and it's an entirely different contact. So once we finally connect with someone, we're gonna make sure that we get not only the stuff down by the middle school, but the stuff up closer to 133rd, because there's probably 5 or 6 culverts that are affected that need to be, unplugged. So we're trying, but we're slow moving.
Right. Yeah, and as far as the stuff on 133rd Lane, we jetted out that pipe and got that all cleaned up in the spring, and I think that's been functioning well. I know that there's gonna be some additional work needing to be done there when they develop that property, the Warnoff property on actual 133rd. They're wanting to build that building or whatever across from the Mexican grocery store. So there's gonna be some storm projects going on in there, but, so far, with that all cleaned out, it's been, you know, and again, I think since we cleaned it out, I don't think we've had a major rain event, but there was a lot of leaves and that pipe was plugged when they did have the issue, so. I'm thinking that that's probably, I think that's probably as good as it's gonna get for now until somebody finally, I mean, we've been trying to get those culverts cleaned out, it seems, for like 5 years and they're still not done. I don't know what would be a better avenue, or I don't know if we can possibly get, I don't know if they could be jetted out, or they have something that has to be done from the tracks, or if we can get to them, or, I mean, if we can get a truck to there and just clean them out ourselves, I mean, it almost seems like we'd be better off trying to investigate doing that than we are waiting to get them to do it.
What do you think if I have a representative that works for United States Senator Todd Young? Would that do any good to call?
Hey, give it a try. You give it a try, and in 2 weeks, I'll let you know if it did any good.
Okay.
When we do we've tried the maintenance on the railroad ourselves in the past for a few towns, and kind of the issue you run into there is you have to deal with their right of entry agreements and pay them to have flaggers out and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It ends up costing a bunch of money to the town, plus the cost of the maintenance. It's their infrastructure, they ought to be taking care of it, but of course, you're stuck with their schedules and...
Yeah, I know if you try to ask them if you can do it, it's trouble, but I didn't know if we can get anywhere to get the jetter in there and clean it out. I wasn't gonna ask.
Yeah, when we widened 133rd over there by the tracks, the railroad came out and told us if you go on our property, you have to have a vest on, you have to have safety glasses on, you have to have a helmet on, and you have to have steel-toed shoes. And I had them from Ford, so whenever I went on the
I remember you coming out with your
property,
whole uniform, Bob.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I don't know if you really need to keep that on as an update, or we keep contacting. I don't know if we maybe say we're gonna clean them out ourselves if they don't get it done, I don't know.
I'd really like to avoid that, try and put more pressure on them.
You would like to avoid putting pressure on them?
No, I want to keep putting pressure on them. I don't want to be paying us to do it.
Right.
Yeah. It's tough, and it's tough work, and it's expensive for the town to do it. I would try to stay the course and let...
Yeah, and there's really the bad part is where all those are, is there's no good access.
Exactly.
You know, you can't just drive up there and do it. You gotta kinda have something from the tracks probably I'm sure they got a jet thing mounted on the train that they go there and do it pretty easily.
Okay, so, just making sure that it's addressed when good contact's made with NS. Keep it on update items, just so we have it. Okay, go about the baseball. Sleepy Hollow ditch cleanup.
Yeah, they went out there and did a little bit of stuff. I mean, we have that planned on this fall, and the leaves start falling off to get in there and try to start cleaning it up some. But the boys have uncovered that's gonna be quite an undertaking to try to get that thing back to cleaned up, because there's a lot of stuff in there.
That's not the only area that needs to be done too.
No, it needs to be done all the way from Parish to,
No, it needs to be done from behind Strax.
yeah.
That's a concern I have, and I was gonna bring that up. This town relies very heavily on ditches, storm ditches like that, to remove water from residential areas. It does very little to maintain that. I've noticed that just driving around myself and looking at what's going on.
Yeah.
My suggestion too, and I don't know if this would work, is to look at purchasing a gradle with a,
Yeah.
arm on it that can, with a 5-foot bucket, to start cleaning some of these out, because I've noticed even along Lowerman,
Everywhere.
every ditch is
I
bad.
tried getting a grade out
We
for-
rely- It's gonna back up. It's gonna be a day where it's gonna back up, and
Right.
we just gotta have a maintenance program on this.
I tried for about 6 or 7 years to get a used grade off, and fought, and I finally almost got one, but then just getting the dollars to buy one, you know, I found a couple decent used ones over the time, you know, but nobody ever.
Would you mind checking into that?
Sure.
And I will do my best to try and see what I can do in front of council if I have to.
No, that's kind of, I mean, we even have the 160, if we can, a lot of places we can get in there with that and clean, you know, get that stuff cleared out of that ditch, but man, it's just so much stuff that, you almost need like a tub grinder or something to get rid of that crap, because when you start cleaning it out, even if you just brush it out and keep the sumps to keep the bank stabilized, it's just a lot. I mean, like you said, the lack of maintenance over the years.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff in there that, and then the poison ivy and all the rest of the stuff that on top of that, you know, but we're gonna try to make a good crack at a part of it in the fall, just to see if we can make a strap, you know, how far we can make a good dent in it, and let's see what we can do. I mean,
We did get one as a test model that we were using there for a while, right?
A Grado, Bob?
Or, that was that bucket thing that could scoop things out.
yeah, we never got a grade all, that was always I always wanted.
Well,
one
I
to
thought somebody
maintain the
let
ditch.
us, try one out. Maybe that's before you.
Maybe.
Yeah, 'cause I've seen them, they have a 5-foot bucket
Yeah, the
on
grade
them.
all's awesome.
Yeah.
Tilt the
Whether
bucket.
it's a single axle or double, singles, or, you know, you're not really getting into heavy thing, but beats taking a big backhoe, 'cause you can't get.
Yeah,
into
you
it.
can conform to the ditches, you know, even along the sides of the road, you know, you can clean out a lot of ditches with that.
Right.
Then you can take that stuff, scoop it up, put it in a truck and get it out of there, which is,
And what that's gonna do then is eliminate a lot of the stuff going into the lake, so the lake doesn't have to be dredged.
right.
Because you're taking a lot of that muck and everything going
Yeah,
up.
it would definitely help, you know, I mean, I worry about taking out too many tree stumps, and, you know, we tried clearing a little part out by 141st, and once you start ripping out those little trees and all that, you just start disturbing that whole erosion bank, and then it makes it worse, you know, so. It's definitely a very labor-intensive job to do, and I think that chainsaws and a lot of manual labor, and then maybe, you know, I don't know how you keep that stuff from trying to grow back other than keeping after it. You know, you can't spray it with stuff because it goes right into the lake, so it's kind of a tough thing, but it definitely needs to be done. I mean, I agree all the way, like you said, clear up to Utopia and all the way back there. There's
Absolutely, yeah, 'cause I went back there and drove, my God,
I mean,
I couldn't believe how overgrown it is. And that's why I brought it up, because Phase 4 is starting at Beacon Point West.
Yeah,
And if you're gonna do it, especially there to do it before they start building up, you can get back there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Schilling will give you the opportunity to go back there, clean it up before they even
yeah,
start.
the area right there, back there is mostly just weeds and stuff.
Sure.
That needs to be like mowed with one of those arm things or something. There's not a lot of brush and tree, you know, there's small stuff, but that could be cleaned up fairly easy, but now would be the time agreed before. there's
That's
not-
correct.
Before you're in somebody's
The
backyard.
Sleepy Hollow's gonna be a very active storm drainage ditch, because a lot more is going to it than did 25 years ago.
And we did get a federal grant from Pete Vesplowski, and we did some work south of Utopia, because Utopia streets, every time it rained, it used to flood all the streets, and fish would come. I don't know where they came, but they were floating down the road.
Right, because that's taking the high school, it's taking the ponds behind Strack Van Til, it's gonna take, by the industrial park, it's taking by rail side. That's building up quick.
Yeah, a lot of water.
That's a lot of water,
Yeah.
and that's
And
gonna
it's helping-
concern me about, because all those homes, you got $500,000 homes there, you don't, even though we have retention ponds,
Right, you need to be able to get out.
you still need to get that water out of there no matter what, because the retention pond can fill up fairly easy too.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't stress enough that we need to look heavily on these ditches to get the water away from these residential homes.
It's a main area where water goes through, for sure.
Absolutely, okay.
Like I said, we're gonna, as soon as this fall, we're gonna hit an area of that and see what we can do, and maybe, I don't know if we can get something with some way to mow that thing behind Strax, but that would be good, great to be able to get that.
You don't have one of those mowers on a tractor that you
No.
see them on the roadways where you can just,
Well, we just have one that it's just on the, it'll only reach out 6 foot from the
Okay,
track.
okay.
But we can mow like one pass along the ditch, but we don't have anything that reaches
Okay.
very far, but we can clean it, I mean, we can at least dip it out and clean it out and make sure it's good before, I mean, it's a great idea to get it done before houses get in there. I mean, we did get the other area to the south there behind Utopia, north of Utopia, we got that.
Shirley contacted me to find out, what are we doing? And I said, we were gonna have the meeting, but things happened last
Oh, yeah.
month. So they're asking me what's going on, and I said, we'll bring it up tonight
Yeah,
and see if we can get in there and do what needs to be done.
yeah.
Okay, I figured now's a good time to do it. It's
No, for
open.
sure, I agree, that'd be, we could probably get that done sooner than later too, at least
Perfect.
over there, so that'd be
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good observation.
Okay, moving on to Murr Street.
There's nothing on Murr Street. They did finally get a approved site plan to fix that drainage there. They are gonna rededicate the easements in there that need to be moved before occupancy, and they got a plan to restabilize that ditch, riprap it, put some new pipe in, and, it's all part of their approval of building a house there, so we feel like it's going on a good path now. I know I got a call from you today, I didn't get a chance to call you back, but, did they start, or did they dig, or?
They started marking, surveying, and there's a discrepancy with the lines.
You need to state your name and address for the record.
Go up here, or just your name and
Yeah,
address?
so they can record it.
Aaron Seacos, 13660 Muir Street, Cedar Lake. So they started doing the survey, marking out the house. There's a discrepancy with the northwest, where the actual lot line is. I don't think it's gonna affect the work that they need to do back there. I was just gonna make you aware of it. We did reach out to, I've got an email to the builder. I attached Nicole to it as well,
Okay.
so you can, but like I said, I don't think it's gonna affect what needs to be done back there, I believe.
Northwest corner?
Yes. So, right now, what they have marked is actually the easement and not the property line. And I actually went to the county surveyor and sat down with him, because I have the plot of survey for the entire subdivision. I just had him lay it out to me like, am I wrong, is this, and he pointed out exactly what all those measurements are on the plot of survey, and it is correct. So what, the point they have marked now is actually the edge of the easement, and then my property actually goes 12 feet to the west. That's so long there, I think it's still, everything still lines up, even though you pivot that point.
So you're talking your northwest property line?
Correct.
Because I was on the next lot's northwest.
No, I'm sorry, yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
My lot 5, my
I was all the way by
lot
Kazan.
northwest pin.
Okay.
So it'd be the east of lot 5, or lot 6.
Gotcha. So the line is in between 12 foot each way, right? There's easement on each of your,
12-foot easement on each side, only on the west side, not on the east side, and I think that's where things are getting lost in translation here.
oh, okay.
I'm assuming it was done that way because of the previous owner putting that storm
Inlet.
inlet in there. He dedicated it as an easement on either side between lot 5 and 6.
Okay.
But that's what we're dealing with now, and I don't, like I said, I don't think it affects any of the corrective measures that are proposed
To go in there.
to go in there. Like I said, my only issue with it is that I'd like to see it straightened out where that outlet, that flared end, that 12-inch flared end goes, rather than follow, it dips into my property and back into theirs, all the erosion that was done. To me, it makes sense just to keep it on their 12-foot utility easement and just run it straight.
Right.
That's how the drain pipe is ran anyways, might as well just run it straight. I walked back, there's no trees or anything they gotta take out. I mean, might as well fill my side in, part of their side, just run it straight through the riprap that was proposed, and I think that's the best option.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to try to do a,
I think it would probably cost more to try and follow it and,
Right,
you know,
yeah, just
I would
speed
just
it
run
up.
a straight line.
right, I agree, and that's what I'll discuss that with them, that's why I wanted.
Yeah, whatever they dig out should be plenty of fill to fill all that, and.
Right. So hopefully that should take care of it. So they took them 4 revisions to finally get a site plan that Don and Luke agreed with to get a plan to rectify this, so I don't know if you have anything, Luke, or.
I mean, you kinda covered it, they finally kinda gave us what we wanted in terms of armoring that, we feel good about it, we think.
As do I, yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of what I assumed would be proposed, so I'm okay with it. Like I said, it makes sense to me just to see it straightened out though,
Right.
rather than follow that winding curve, that didn't make sense to me. I understand they're probably trying to do that because that's what's already there, erode it out, but just fill it and.
Yeah, put the pipe in there and put down.
Right.
So we're gonna get rid of the waterfall in Sugar Lake?
One of them, yeah.
Okay, 'cause that was big.
I wish that was the last drainage problem in Cedar
Oh,
Lake.
yeah.
But it is that's been a long time coming, I mean, I can remember,
Yeah.
I don't know how many years it's been, but it's been a long time.
2015, 16 we started on that, yeah.
Yeah,
Been a long time.
about 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years, so. I can remember fixing that curb and lowering that road, and that's been a long time.
Yeah, my wife has videos and pictures and everything. My son's 10 now, he was a little kid running around barely walking, and you were out there with the machine and stuff.
I remember taking that road out, and I mean, it was a big project there, the part that we got fixed, I mean, that was a lot of,
And
That was a
it
mess.
did the trick as far as flooding my front yard, so.
In the garage.
In the garage.
In the basement.
yeah, got the water going at least in the right spot, but,
Correct.
yeah, now the rest of it'll be done, and that'll be awesome.
Well, that's good news. Okay, moving up to Public Works projects with 2024 project rankings. We have item A, Monastery Woods, 10026 West 128th Place. Excuse me, Avenue.
Hey, believe it or not, that's done.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Done
We
before
spent,
last meeting.
I hate to say it, but we spent way more time talking about it than it took to do it, unfortunately, but, it's done. Problem solved. Scratch it from the list.
Okay, good job, thank you. Going back to Muir Street, is that something that we need to take off, or do we need to keep it?
No, let's keep it on there just to make sure it all goes through. I don't want anybody thinking I wanna keep that as a top priority till it's done and somebody's living there, 'cause it's been one of those, I'd like to keep it on, I'd like to keep it on the radar just to
Nobody
make
has to bring
sure.
it on again, I would
Start
agree
from
with that.
scratch.
Yeah.
It could become out of mind, out of sight.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
make
just,
sure
I like to
it's
keep
all
it on the, I mean, we all get busy and it's nice to see it on that list and just kinda, until it's, so I can say it's 100% completed, then we'll take it out. Just like, I mean, I feel good with taking Monastery Woods off now, but that we should keep on there until we get it, till it's accomplished.
10-4. Moving on to Dewey Street lateral, 14616 Dewey Street.
That's still in limbo. I mean, we were supposed to meet with him over the last, I thought this month before this meeting. I brought it up to Ben and he hadn't made contact with him yet, as of yet. So he does have in his application for his new house permit, and we're supposed to just kinda get together with him and explain the necessity of this, and, which we have done in the past, but we have not done it a second time as of yet, so.
Okay.
Don't know how much, I mean, it seems like it's not anybody's main priority, but I think we're getting closer to him agreeing to put it in there, because he kinda needs it to build this new house that he wants, so. That's the Tom Frick thing, Bob.
Yeah, and, but that's where we've got, controversy in, with Bugaboos and him?
Yeah.
I guess, well, that's assumed,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's just kind of,
He was in here to the unsafe building at the last meeting.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if that's the case, I kind of assumed there was something going on there, but I just don't know.
Okay. Moving on to additional projects related to the woods of Cedar Creek. We do have a vote to review the woods of Cedar Creek drainage improvements, Phase 2 pay requests, which assuming that this will close out the project. How long ago was that when that started?
The last, block of sidewalk was poured, the landscaping was done. It's all in order now.
Okay, so we have $4,228.04 left over from the half cubic yard needed to complete this project. So put it to a vote as to approve. I put a motion to a vote on this on the board level.
I'll make a motion to approve the $4,228.04
Now
for
second.
the project at Cedar Creek. Cedar Creek.
Now second that motion.
Ryan Eastick,
Yes.
Robert Grossick,
Yes.
Angie Kitchener.
Yes.
Wow.
We
This
take
is the
that
first
off.
time in stormwater board history that we didn't have someone represent from the Cedar Creek. 4 years?
They must be happy, and they're back, it was a pretty significant improvement to all those little backyards there, that drainage, it just needed that little bit of, I mean, obviously it's more than just a little bit, but it needed a place for that water to get.
Good.
So am I removing this from the agenda, as well as the Monastery Wood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reluctantly, happily. Okay, moving on to Woodland Shore Storm Sewer Improvement. This is the current Heinz property, formerly Becker. Last we talked about, there was gonna be some more easements needed than originally thought. Any update related to that? No.
I don't know how we can try to get some of these easements and stuff, it seems like we just get into a black hole here, and we're not, you know, I don't know who is supposed to be trying to keep this at a priority, but we keep on just kinda, I don't know that anybody's making any contact with the attorney or whatever.
I talked to Dave twice, and he sent something over, he told me that it was taken care of.
Oh.
To, who'd he send it to?
I thought he sent it to you guys.
I thought we were just one easement or something away from,
I think that's right, I think there's 2, and I think you got 1.
that's what I thought too, there was one done and one not done, but.
I'll have to check my email, 'cause he sent me something saying that he took care of that.
Well, again, we don't have any communication, so. I haven't heard, I haven't seen anything, I haven't heard anything.
I'll check my emails with him, and when I find what I got from him, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I mean, that's gonna be a bigger project, right?
I believe
I don't
so.
know if we have a scope of work or budgetary, how much that.
Well, we had a,
I'll have to look it up, I don't
we
recall.
definitely have something that Don had prepared, because obviously we needed these two easements to be able to accomplish it, so.
We at least got to the point where we had preliminary easement exhibits put together, and I think.
Have some kind of design.
And then, yeah, some kind of design, even if it was,
Okay.
not final, it was far enough along where we had a handle on the easement, so. I can look it up and see.
Yeah,
where-
that'd be good for you to at least see what's up.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't really dive into that one just because it was always held up with easements, I don't know what we
See what
did in
it is, yeah.
engineering.
I know when Chuck Becker lived there, he replaced furnace after furnace after furnace.
I know there's been problems there, but I don't know.
I've been told that since Dave Carey put that subdivision in, that it alleviated some of the water going to him.
I think that's true, and I know that that house was built on a lot that was where the storm water went, and they built a house there, so. Unfortunately, you know, it's something got built there that shouldn't have, really. That's why there's an issue, but. I know Don had a plan to put some kind of pipe in there next to the house or something to get that water through to the lake, so. There is a game plan.
Yep.
But the cost, or, I mean, you probably have it somewhere.
Yeah, I'll dig it up. If there's typically whenever we put together a plan, there's a cost that goes with it, just so people can weigh in on it.
I do believe Kenny McAllister did do some work there, but it didn't totally correct the problem.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of that stems from that, if I remember correctly. Okay, and then we have the Schubert and Dodge Street storm sewer system.
Yeah, so speaking of a plan with a cost, for the past few months, we've been working behind the scenes on this Schubert and Dodge storm sewer improvements, otherwise known as Meyer Manor Terrace. If you look in your agenda packet, Wendy threw in basically our set preliminary engineering plans and a couple of cost estimates. But, you know, if you don't want to dive into the actual engineering plans, I put together this sort of just overall exhibit showing kind of a very abridged version of the improvements. Essentially, this whole area of Meyer Manor Terrace is very poorly draining, lots of low areas. The storm sewers is a hodgepodge of, you know, small diameter plastic, corrugated metal, clay pipes. Some are failing, some are in bad condition, they're obviously undersized. Essentially, there's some areas of this neighborhood that, you know, have like the swales on the sides of the roads. So basically everything on this exhibit that's shown in yellow, that would be a proposed storm sewer. So essentially starting on the very southwest portion up by Schubert and the Dodge intersection. Essentially we start off as a 12-inch pipe, sort of funnel everything down towards Lakeshore Drive. That would be like the new trunk storm sewer system. Same thing with Schubert and Deoder Street, if I'm saying that street name correctly. Again, start off with a 12-inch pipe, poke holes into the roadside swales where we can, put new structures in the low areas, new curb and gutter, et cetera. Then kind of get everything down towards Lakeshore Drive, where we are essentially hugging the north side of the street or northwest side of the street, where we end up with anywhere between a 21-inch storm sewer at the south end. By the time we make our way all the way up by the park, we're at a 36-inch diameter storm sewer. And then the idea is to jog it over across the roadway towards the lake. The other thing with this area, if you're familiar with it, the topography is pretty challenging. We're fighting grades from getting the water from the low areas, you know, basically up through hills, and so we can get, you know, close enough to the lake where we get our home free point where we can get everything to drain by gravity. So that's why you see the pipes sort of stop short of the lake. That's kind of the area where we can, you know, get to the right elevation where we can get everything back through that neighborhood to then drain by gravity, and then from there it would just sort of drain over land to the lake. But we would do some armoring at that outlet to make sure that, you know, the flows aren't eroding the heck out of the land between, you know, that end point and the lake shore. So that's sort of a, you know, kind of a Cliff's Notes version of the improvements. We got the full set of engineering plans, which is at like a preliminary level. Pretty advanced for preliminary, but we did that for a couple of reasons. One was to get a good handle on the costs. The other part of it too is just with some of the other projects we got going on in town, dealing with NIPSCO and their utility relocates. They basically told us they need a full year for any kind of large scale gas and electric relocation. You know, give them a full year notice, and they also want the plans to be at a pretty advanced level. You know, you can't just give them a back of the napkin and say, here, we need you to get this stuff out of the way. So we wanted to get the plans to that point, and then we're pausing, obviously, to get your input, but we also want to make sure that we can do that utility coordination with NIPSCO. And then, of course, we're at the preliminary level. We have a pretty good handle on costs, but we're still in preliminary, so we have contingencies in our costs, but we basically separated into two different cost estimates. One was what we're calling the base bid, and again, this is in your packet, but it's essentially doing all the storm sewer work, all the pavement work. When we get to Lakeshore Drive, we're literally only patching the roadway where we'd be putting in the new storm sewer. That comes out to approximately $1.9 million. If you were to look at resurfacing Lakeshore Drive, which, you know, would make everything match, get kind of a brand new roadway in there, added approximately $200,000 to the cost, so it's roughly $2.1 million. Again, this is a preliminary level, so we have a 15% contingency baked into now, but you know, really the idea was for us to get to this point, pause, let you all weigh in on it, digest it, you know, give us some more direction once everyone has their head wrapped around it. And obviously, some of the engineering will be sharpened as we get to the final engineering, but, you know, we don't expect the cost to be vastly different, but, you know, there are opportunities for us to sort of obviously sharpen those numbers. But yeah, I think I'm kind of running out of steam here. That's kind of where we're at in a nutshell, so maybe I'll just stop there, and if there's questions or comments. Yeah.
There's no way of taking that water, like, down to the west, like to the viaduct there?
Yeah, we kind of looked at that, and we were kind of fighting that same battle. You know, we're kind of going down towards the viaduct, so we are going uphill, then downhill. I think I know exactly what you're talking. You're talking just southwest of here.
It just seems like it seems like most of the issues are there by the Eagles. I know up the, you know, all them places, there's like low, I mean, we have storm sewers on the corners of those roads that have catch basins, and 3 foot of pipe going each way out of the catch basins, and then some gravel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they put in, like French drain. I don't even
Like a
know
French
what they
drain
are.
type thing, yeah.
You would assume that we try cleaning them out to see what the heck, why they're not draining, and that's why they're not draining. Basically, it's like I don't even know, but there is a lot of water trapped up there on top of the hill there, but it seems like that's just a long way to get to the lake, you know, from Dot or Deodar.
Right. And I think, you know, part of it too is just, again, the elevations of some of this stuff. I think when we get over towards the lake here, we're shooting for, you know, like that 698, 697 grade. When you follow that towards Lakeshore Drive, I think we get up to, you know, at the high point, we're up at, what, 715, so 16, 17 feet higher than that. And then, you know, we also, when you're going down by the viaduct, we're about an equal grade, looks like the viaduct's 699, but
I know once you get down there, there's no good way to get to the lake.
Yeah, I think if you look, I think there are, you start to get the grades that make more sense, but, you know, how to get the water from Lake Shore Drive over here might be a little tough, and I think that's why they went to, look at poking a hole through the park instead.
Yeah. I just wondered if they looked, that's all. Just a
Yeah.
curiosity thing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe not all of this, but this is something that we had looked at back at end of 2024 or early 2025, and including into a CCMG application, Community Crossings Matching Grant. But more work was being done on Marquette Street. Going that route, if I...
South of Lake Shore Drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to look that part up. I don't know if that was, I assume maybe that was part of the CCMG, but the CCMGs that we're doing now are Shades AA, AB, and Phase 2.
But Donnie had a reason for getting this for some kind of grant, right?
Yeah, and I
That was
don't, that was the thought process.
the point in trying to get something kind of shovel-ready for some kind of
Right.
grant money, yeah.
And there was a timeline associated with it where they couldn't put all of the numbers together for the scope of work that you have diligently done and provided here. But I don't want to complicate things with other ongoing projects if they're not able to be tied in together.
And that's kind of what we did with the other CCMGs is, you know, pavement's in rough condition, but we also, if there were storm sewer improvements to be made, you parlay that, you know, together with the two things. I'd have to look it up, what he had put together for Marquette.
I think that was his point in kind of getting to preliminary design so that we could have something for that opportunity, you know, for 50% match or something, that would be awesome.
Ties back into different issues that Mary Jo Dickinson had brought up previously. Just putting it out there. So
Okay.
what do you want us to do with this information?
Really, it's just, you know, it's obviously a lot of money for the project, so I don't know how much is in the coffers for storm board. It might delve outside that. You know, I think two things. One is to maybe understand how we would potentially fund it, and part of that might be just us trying to look for funding opportunities. Like you mentioned, the CCMG thing. There's other things out there too. And the other thing is just general feedback on, like, to Tim's point, you know, there's alternative alignments that we could potentially look at, you know, we can look at that and cross whatever off the list that we have to, but, it's really just about getting some direction on what else to look at from here.
So on this Meyer Manor, Tim's suggesting take it, to the west, by the viaduct, and then it would drain into the lake through Meyer Manor?
Well, that's kind of, I mean, I guess, to me, that whole viaduct area could use some work also, so, like, if we can get that cleared out from in there to the lake, and then also drain this, it would just be a win-win, you know, because that, obviously, that viaduct drainage is old, and that's a pretty, that kind of just makes its way through there. There's really not any defined, it's just kind of a swale and some wetland, and it kind of gets through back there into the lake, past the...
That's where it's at, where you just had your arrow down there?
Yeah, the viaduct that Tim's talking about, I think is right,
That's the vacated one, right?
yeah, right?
Yes.
So
And that water kind of goes past the Aaron Farmers down there back through the woods and gets back there, but...
And Public Works discovered a catch basin down there near Donnie La Tulips that was plugged up, and after you guys opened it up, that thing quit flooding there by the viaduct.
Yeah, it did flood recently when we had that big rain again, but it is helped, but that could be, I mean, that thing could use a little bit of help along there. That's all super old, so I was just thinking if we got that improved along with this, it would just be
Kill two birds with one stone.
Right, I mean, that's all I was thinking, it just kind of makes sense in that. If it does work, it would kind of help to get that revitalized and upgraded and updated and get a nice outfall into the lake to keep that stormwater, as clean as we can. That's
So you're gonna look into that, Lou?
Yeah, so we'll look into that and see how we can jog that.
just if it's a possibility. I mean, I know it's right down the hill there, it's a little closer, but
Yeah,
then you got all the way to get through to it too, so.
yeah. We'll look into it, and I guess at the, October storm board, I'll report back on what that might look like.
Awesome.
I brought up the fact, Tim, and I'm gonna ask you your opinion, where this was actually entering in here on this scale here, I don't know, wherever. Anything that's gonna be entering into that lake, any stormwater entering into that lake, is it possible to put a 12 by 12 by 12 foot concrete basin before it goes into the lake? So in the event we do have a rain, a lot of that sediment would be caught in that, I'm just gonna say a 12 by 12 swimming pool. Okay, then the water's flowing into there, you're gonna get the muck, you're gonna get dirt and everything,
Yeah.
and then the water goes out to the lake. Are you gonna capture 100%?
We have
No.
one of those across from Town Club. Just what you're saying, it's called a hydro something, I don't know what it's called, but it's a
Oh, I'd like
big,
to see that, just for, yeah.
it's there, it's got the 3 manholes on the top, and it's about, I think it's like 15 foot deep.
See, that's something, well, then you could go with that,
It catches a lot
that
of
grate
stuff.
off, and clean that out,
Yeah,
and what it's doing then, it's relieving the stuff going into the lake, so you don't have to
right.
dredge it
Yeah,
as often, because that's what they're taking out, is the debris coming in from all over.
Right.
That's what
Oh,
they're
yeah.
dredging.
what is that thing called, the hydrodynamic?
I know,
Some kind of storm
we
water.
put in the hydrodynamic separators, which are kind of what you're describing. They're a little bit more sophisticated. They got some kind of swirl technology where the pipe comes in, there's like a settling, there's like a snout, contraption on the outlet pipe, and so things settle out, whether it's oil and sediment and stuff.
Sure.
There's at least 5 or 6 proprietary products out there that make them.
I think that's the thing they put at the BP, the hydros. That's
Yeah,
what I think that's where I got that name from, but
Yeah,
there's some
typically,
kind of a big basin across from Town Club that's got 3 manholes and it's about 15 feet deep, like he said, like a 12-foot circle. And it catches all that sediment that comes up from the hill, goes into that thing, then releases it.
And that's why I was looking at Sleepy Hollow, where it goes into the lake too.
Mhm.
To have something like that put in there, I don't know if that's feasible or not.
Yeah,
And what's that other ditch that comes over, let me see.
By the chamber,
By, the boat place.
Chamber of Commerce.
What? No, by,
Pinecrest.
Pinecrest?
Pinecrest.
Oh.
There's
Well, we
another
got the
ditch that
same,
falls
we got
into
the
there.
same
You can
problem
see
at
it
the
under the
Chamber of
road.
Commerce.
Pardon?
We got the same problem at the Chamber of Commerce. When it rains, those pipes, mud just shoots into the lake.
Yeah.
I think that's something moving forward that we should look at as a long-term,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say fix, but a long-term,
Yeah. Yeah, some kind of settlement, it's like a settlement basin, basically.
right, and then just go in, clean that out after a rain, and you're kinda done. Now you don't have to dredge the
I'll tell
lake.
you, that thing, in a year, that big basin almost fills up with sediment. It catches a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I mean,
What,
it
the
works.
town club?
Yeah.
And I had a resident ask me, have we cleaned that out lately? And I said, I don't know.
Yes, we have.
You have?
We finally got all the way to the bottom of it, and it's like 15 feet deep.
Okay.
It's loads of stuff in there. It's unbelievable how much stuff's in there, but we got it cleaned
It's
up.
all the debris that would go into the lake
Right.
that's being captured before going in there.
How do
I'd
you
like to
clean
see
it?
that at every outlet going to the lake.
No, I don't know if that's because all the water comes from so high up on the, I don't know what the situation is with why I'm sure they put it in there, because there's no room between the road and the lake there, so I think they put that in, you know, 'cause they didn't have a place for it to accumulate or whatever.
But by Pinecrest, you can go on the west side of Lowerman, correct, and put it there?
I would imagine you could put something anywhere, yeah. I would think if it's trapping sediment, it wouldn't matter where it was along the way. I mean,
Well,
if it-
just to clean it out, that, my
As long as
point
you
is
can
to
get
clean
to
it out,
clean
as
it
long
out,
as we can
correct,
get it to
right,
clean it out.
right.
That's why I thought that one would be good right along Lowerman, there on the west side of Lowerman.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to look into that and see what, I know that one works, it catches a lot of stuff, it works. So I don't know how much, you know, how, like in the slower flows or when it really rains hard, obviously, you know. it
As I
doesn't
said, you're not gonna
much.
capture 100%, but if you got 60%, I think that's pretty darn good.
90%'s pretty good.
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah, that's something, maybe we can check into that and see what it takes to put in. I know that thing is right by the lake and it's pretty deep, so I'm sure it wasn't a simple thing to install back when they did it. I'm sure that was something they had to put some pilings in and pump and get the hole deep enough to get it in there, but it's definitely functioning, so.
Okay, just something to look at.
Okay. All right, new business. Okay, moving on to public comment. And just a reminder, if you have any public comments, please come up to the podium, state your name and address. Ready, set, go. Okay, without further ado, we will end tonight's meeting, and we'll see you all on October 14th. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.